Rescue 911. Caught live on tape.
There was no robbery in progress there.
Held at gunpoint, 2 employees fear for their lives.
He's got a gun, he's got a gun!
I can hear him yelling through the glass, I want a car, or I will kill these hostages.
Plus, an oncoming train barreling toward a mother and her young son.
You're just praying until the train's gone by.
On Rescue 911.
On March 5th, 1992, 2 employees of a bar and grill in Greenville, North Carolina were closing up for the night. All the customers were gone, and bartender Bert Marlowe and assistant manager Kathy Strickland were down to the last few tasks before going home. Some of the footage in this story was taped as the events unfolded.
Approximately 2 a.m., a lone gunman entered the restaurant. Inside at that time was the assistant manager.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Get the keys.
When we continue.
I had a difficult time understanding exactly what he was saying, but I did get the gist of what was going on. There was no 911 emergency.
Is there any way you can speak up, because I can barely hear you? I'm calling from Applebees. Yeah?
The call came in to Greenville Police telecommunicator Bobby Cannon.
I had a very difficult time understanding exactly what he was saying, but I did get the gist of what was going on. There was an armed robbery in progress there.
I'm in Applebees. All right, hold on. 91. Code 2 response to Applebees on Greenville Boulevard. As is possible. 1065 in progress. Didn't he hang up? He heard the female calling him. He laid his phone down, went to check with her. He hasn't come back to the phone.
He never come back, and that's when we knew for a fact that we had a bad situation.
Lieutenant Lee Garish got to the scene within 5 minutes of hearing the call on his radio.
You could look in and see an individual crawling across the floor. So I identified myself as a police officer. Told him to show himself and to come out.
He's got a gun, he's got a gun!
I believe I might have hit him. I'm not sure. He hasn't got a weapon.
I felt at that instant that if I did not shoot at him, he was going to shoot at me. Within approximately 5 minutes, I could see the gunman with the female, and he has the gun to her head, and he has the male with his right arm, and he brings them both out together. And I can hear him yelling through the glass, I want a car, or I will kill these hostages.
No way, man!
Then he yells, I'm letting him go with the keys. I want him to start the car, the hostage's car.
Get out! Get out!
And I told him we could not provide him a car, to please let the hostage go. And he screamed back, I will kill her first. I will not let her go. Get me a car. We handcuffed the male subject. It's a possibility he's a suspect.
What's your name?
I asked him, I said, do you think you know who he is? He said, I think so. I recognize the voice.
So I tell them who I think it is, and that this was done by a coworker friend. And I was very angry because this was supposed to be my friend who was doing this, and he was supposed to be a friend of Kathy's.
This is Bobby. It's police department. Who is this?
You're going to jail tonight. You got that?
Yes.
I want out now. Can you arrange that?
How many are you in there? Who are you requesting this for you, just you alone?
Me and my hostage.
You or your hostage? Sir, is it just you and the female in there alone?
Yes.
Why don't we just go ahead and take care of it before it gets any worse for you and anybody else?
It's bad, baby.
Well, I know it's bad, but we don't want it to get any worse.
I don't want to get any worse either, but I will die before I get caught.
You sure the female's okay? It's in there with you?
Yes, she is right now, but I can't promise anything. If I die, she's going too.
When he made the threat, I did believe him. But the main goal was to try to keep him calm, to keep anyone from getting hurt.
On several occasions, I could see the suspect put the gun to Kathy's head. I could see him put the gun to his head, and it appeared to be eliciting a response from us to shoot him, to shoot at him. We did not know what he was trying to do.
A command post was set up across the street, and hostage negotiator Sergeant Doug Jackson was brought in.
He advised me that he wanted to die. There's no point in you committing suicide. My main goal was to get Kathy out of there unhurt, and hopefully nobody else would be hurt.
By 3:15 a.m., the police emergency response team arrived under the command of Sergeant David Johnson.
We were advised that he wanted a car, he was coming outside, and he was going to leave. He wanted the keys to the patrol car, and I kept informing him he didn't have anywhere to go. His only option was to go back inside, and he was saying, I have another option. I can let the girl go and then start shooting at you, and then you're going to have to kill me. I got the impression at that point that he really wanted us to kill him. So I was able to convince him to go back inside. I just told him, why didn't he just let the girl go and everything would be okay? She was almost hysterical at this point. I remember hearing her say she didn't want to go back inside.
We continued to talk. He told me he talked to his father. He told me that his father had hung up on him. He called his mother, and she tried to talk David into coming out, and David wouldn't come.
Just as dawn was breaking, it seemed like the mood had kind of switched. I was becoming more convinced that something was about to happen. He had made the comment to the negotiator that it would all be over with in a matter of moments. He started consuming beer. And once he starts drinking, we have a real concern that he might not be rational.
The suspect's step-uncle, Leighton Getzinger, was notified of the situation. And around 10:30, he went to the scene with Police Chief Chuck Hinman to offer his help.
I was convinced that the step-uncle really did have a positive influence over the hostage-taker. I agreed to a swap of sorts. I agreed that if he, the hostage-taker, would release the hostage, that I would then let the step-uncle enter.
Okay, I got her. I got him. He's safe. I got him. I got him. Hey! She's gone. Okay, she's free. She's out.
And I guess it was at that point that I finally said it's over. And I hugged my mom and dad, I guess, at the same time, and it was just very heartbreaking to hear my father just cry. He doesn't cry. And it was upsetting. It made me angrier.
We have the girl. Okay, all you to stand by. The uncle has just gone in. All you to stand by. The uncle's inside.
Got it.
They stayed inside for approximately 20 minutes and talked, and I then called them, and the uncle answered the phone and told me that to back off, to give him plenty of time, that there was no hurry, that he had the gun, and that the gun was a toy gun. It surprised everyone, because the whole night long we had gone on the assumption that the gun was real. We allowed him to talk about 15 more minutes, and I called the uncle back, and he said that they were about ready to come out. He says, just please don't rough him up when he comes out. And I told him he would not be roughed up if he did as instructed.
There we go.
He said, well, I've screwed up so bad here. I said, I know, but we're going to, it'll work out. This is not the end of the world. It's going to be a delay in the rest of your life. That's it. But Kathy's alive. You're alive. I'm alive. Live people can fix things. Dead people can't.
Mr. Melton, why'd you do it?
During the 9 hours and 20-some minutes, there was a number of times when he could have been taken out. As long as he didn't hurt Kathy, then he wasn't going to get hurt. And I think that that's pretty well the epitome of restraint, and that's about the best that we could have done.
Yeah, tell my dad to kiss me.
The suspect was subsequently found guilty of 3 felony charges and sentenced to 45 years in prison.
We have visited with him. He's probably the model prisoner. He has not received any rehabilitation since he's been in prison. That concerns me. But I think going to prison was probably good for him because it reinforces some of the things that were destroyed in his character as a young man by the abuse that he suffered. And that's having to make commitment, pay for your mistakes.
I've forgiven him, and I pray that he's all right, and I worry about him. But then again, it was just so upsetting to have a friend go just to do this to you. Because my heart went out for him, but then it hated him too. It was difficult. I guess that's why I felt like I was going nuts. You have so much fear. But I'm getting better. I feel that old Kathy coming back. It's nice.